Well, if we talk purpose, purpose is what I call a desire that is stronger than death. So if you have, because you can, I always say that you can stop a person's purpose to happen, but you cannot stop what is purpose to happen. When you speak with someone directly and in the heart, it actually speaks to them. Sometimes you are able to actually transform a person's life because of you are not just speaking, you're speaking into them. That is why I often would say that I'm not trying to impress you, but I'm trying to impress upon you, because I want you to be inspired from within and to be motivated from within to say, I want to do this thing. We're saying that in order to master, to become a master class, a master speaker, a master in anything, you gotta keep doing it every day, non-stop, never stop. And when you do it every day, it becomes a habit. And a habit is something that it's in you. You love it, you're passionate about it, and you can do it. Anyone can wake you up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you'll still be able to do it perfectly. So
The Groundbreakers, Mondays to Thursdays, 7 to 9 p.m. on TUT FM.
It is that time once again on a Wednesday. You know what happens. It's Plug a Graduate, and we bring in some seasoned guests, people who have been in the industry, whatever industry you want to talk of, whether you talk finance, you talk motor industry, but this would be the top of the tree, it is safe to say. And today we have Karabo Lekalakala, who is here. I mean, he could easily take the job sitting there. He has been in the industry for far too long, has been a radio presenter, an actor, news anchor, as well as motivational speaker. Now, Karabo has been a professional speaker for over 11 years, having begun speaking in Toastmasters International in 2006 and winning the most entertaining speaker for District 74 Southern Africa. He has coached organizations like Eskom, SASA, McDonald's South Africa, and many more on relationship dynamics in uplifting the support for women empowerment. He's an author of 3 books, along with his number of seller 7 Principles of Understanding Women, with over 10,000 copies sold. Karabo began his radio journey back in 2017 at Sauma HD Radio Samro Music Building as a radio host of a graveyard show, Midnight Rush, and went to the night show, The Prime Time Rush, which became popular with his style of hosting and interacting with listeners based on music and relationship conversations. He became a news anchor for DSTV ITV channel in 2015, where he was doing late night news and the lunchtime news. Through this time, Karabo had already made a numerous media appearances on SABC One Shift as a relationship expert and shed some insight on relationships on Metro FM's Ismail Abrahams. Now, he also made valuable contribution on Soweto TV's show Mbogodo, hosted by Jackie Mapala. Now, Karabo has also been featured on SABC One's Your TV Blue Couch for Valentine's Special in 2017-2018, sharing his input on Valentine's. He also has shared a stage alongside Ringo Madlingosi, emceeing an event. He has been featured on television commercial adverts including ABSA Africanacity 2018, Castle Light, Ultimate House Party 2018, Stanbic Bank. Karabo has also shared a stage with alongside Abigail Kubeka on a movie Love on Safari shot in 2018. He's also a voice-over artist and has shared motivational videos during hashtag Monday Motivation, accompanied by his baritone voice. We'll hear a bit more about that at a later stage. He's also a current brand ambassador of a fast-growing clothing brand in South Africa, I Shall. Whew. There's a lot about him, and there are a number of things that I looked when you look in terms of his bio, a number of very cogent points that I want to raise at a later stage, but it's always an honor, Karabo. Yours looks like a very rich resume. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you so much. It's such a long bio.
That's the baritone that we're talking about.
But thank you so much for hosting me. It was great and honor to be right here with you guys. I appreciate it.
Sure. Obviously, this is what we do, is that we touch a bit more on your very exemplary life, safe to say, and then we'll get into the crux of the matter proper. Tonight we are talking collaborative an achievement-driven partnership. It's a very, very loaded a topic to have to unpack, but it's also a masterclass speaker and relationship coach. So we'll get into those aspects as well to understand the man broadly. You are watching us, of course, on our Facebook page. You can also interact with us on the show on 0123829257. Begin engaging, listen attentively, take key points, because this could be of some help at some stage. Now, let's talk about for a moment, I'm fascinated by how you've worked with bigger brands. And I suppose overall, that might have, in fact, shaped the person who grew up to be what we now call a master class speaker. That's different to a speaker. We'll get to that at a later stage. But how did that experience come about in terms of you having to be brought and understood, seen by such big brands? I mean, you think Eskom, you think in Sasa, you think in McDonald's. What were you doing there, quite apart from maybe connecting electricity? What were you doing with Eskom?
First of all, you gotta be hungry. You know, when you're hungry, you want more. When you're hungry, you want to achieve things that have never been achieved before. I guess with me, it was the hunger for success. You know, I had greatness within me. I just wanted to actually make sure that it's out there and people know who I am and know what I do.
Sure.
And a lot of people, and more especially young folks, they lack the hunger to really want that. You know, so for me, it when it began, I was extremely hungry. I remember when I began in Toastmasters International, when I became a speaker, I would not speak as fluently as I'm speaking, and then I started, wanting that. I wanted to become like your Jim Rohn. I wanted to become like your Les Brown. So all of those people, they sparked something inside of me that made me want to really achieve the things that I wanted to achieve. So when you are hungry, brands will notice you. When you're hungry, people, because you have to do something so that people can be able to notice you. So I started doing something. And you can think of every great person, every great individual. You think Bill Gates, you think Stephen Jobs. These are people that when they were doing something, the world recognized them. So, which is what I did. I started getting involved. I started making collaborative relationships. I started trying to meet people. And a lot of work, I always tell my guys at the office that a lot of work happens outside the office. That you gotta meet people. You gotta connect and make your network your net worth. So in that way, you are able to make yourself expand and people know more about you. And for me, it was just that I really wanted things so bad that I wanted to really get to the best level that I've never reached before.
Sure. As we lay the foundation for this conversation, perhaps, and it begin to get into your mind, get into your thinking. I'm looking at the papers that are here, and you've made something very cogent here about mastering your talent and giving to the world what you are purposed to give. And right there, for me, comes an answer in terms of what a purpose is and whether there is a nexus, if I may, between a dream and a purpose, because I think that's where the struggle is at. Please get into that as we get deeper and deeper into our conversation here.
Well, if we talk purpose is what I call a desire that is stronger than death. So if you have, because you can always say that you can stop a person's purpose to happen, but you cannot stop what is purpose to happen. So if you want to have that desire, if you look at people like Stephen Bantu Biko, they had a purpose that they were willing to die for. Nelson Mandela, he had a purpose that he was willing to die for. So that is a purpose, like you'd remember a book by, I forgot the author, but it's called A Purpose-Driven Life. So, because a dream is only a dream, and it'll remain a dream until you do something about it. We all can dream of so many things that we want to achieve, but you have to have a purpose, something that you are destined to achieve, something that you are destined to really die for. And I'm not talking physical death. I'm talking a death inside you that is so passionate about something that you want to do. I mean, if you look at yourself right now, it's the moment that you're here and your purpose to speak, and your voice will be heard by millions of people through these microphones. And that is a desire for you. You could have been doing something better out there, but something that is even much more greater. It's the purpose that you were born to do, and this is that which you must do. So that is what we call purpose.
Very, very strong answer that is. So there's a masterclass part. You're a masterclass speaker. That's quite different from a speaker.
Yeah.
What is a masterclass speaker?
A masterclass speaker is what we would call sort of a specialty.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Sort of like a specialty. So I'm a masterclass when it comes to relationship, and I'm not only talking a mutual relationship between couples, and I've done that. I've coached many couples. I've coached many individuals in relationships and dynamics that they're facing. But now I also talk masterclass in terms of how do we make collaborative relationships. And this I'm talking about, it's like what I'm doing currently with some of the students from Swan University of Technology, that we are involved with the department which is applied languages. And what we're doing is creating these opportunities together with the university, as well as the company that I'm working for, which is Zamaputi Publishers. And so what we're doing is that we're creating opportunities for students to actually enhance their skill and enhance their knowledge in terms of the career that they're choosing. So in that way, the collaborative part of this relationship is between us and the university to actually create opportunities for the students. But it doesn't stop there. These students, we're also creating and helping them to, also create better relationship far away when they've left the university. So in that way, this is what we call collaborative collaborative achievement-driven relationships. So when you meet someone in your circle that you've never known before, and then you network and you create that type of relationship where you're able to actually give something to this person, make this person's life better, and then that person will also make your life better by giving you something that you didn't have at that time. Let's say, for example, you needed a plug to actually be in radio. So you if you meet guys that have been in radio and they can plug you, you meet someone that can help you to actually get to the highest level that you've never reached. Because that is what we call collaborative relationship. That is what we call being able to know that if you do what is easy, your life will be hard. If you do what is hard, your life will be easy. So that is what we call, that is self-determination that comes within you to say that this is what I want to do. This is what I want to achieve. And then you create relationships, you meet people. There is a saying that all of us are self-made, but only the successful will admit it. So what it means is that no man is an island. So you have to have relationship that will help others in order to help you.
And what are the hallmarks of a master class speaker? Maybe you are the only one. I could easily say a great speaker, but what do you need to have? Earlier on at the top of our show, you said you had problems, in fact, speaking public, and I think a lot of people do have that particular problem as well. But what are the attributes of a great speaker, or a master class speaker in your very, very, I suppose, esoteric language?
Well, the great attributes of a great speaker is every speaker that speaks, they read. A great speaker is a reader. So you've got to become a reader, because information changes things. Information expands things. Information make things different, because when you have information, you're able to know what to do. But a person who doesn't have information, they don't know what to do. That is why they say my people perish because of lack of knowledge. So when I speak, it's solemnly based on, there's nothing new under the sun. There's someone who was doing this far much more better that I'm doing. So when I come on stage and I speak and I inspire, I encourage, it is because of my story. It's able to inspire another person. But how I say it, fluently, and being able to connect deeper with people in the heart. Because when you speak with someone directly and in the heart, it actually speaks to them. Sometimes you are able to actually transform a person's life because of you are not just speaking, you're speaking into them. That is why I often would say that I'm not trying to impress you, but I'm trying to impress upon you, because I want you to be inspired from within and to be motivated from within to say, I want to do this thing. So qualities of a great speaker: you've got to be a reader. You got to be a person who wants more information. So you got to be a speaker who listens to other speakers, because you learn so much from other people when the way they are speaking, things that they are saying. And when you learn those things, you're able to actually use them on your own accord to actually make it better, and take it out better. That is why today you see a whole lot of new vehicles coming in into the market, coming from China. And to tell you the story on that, it is because China is not trying to reinvent the wheel. They're just trying to make it better. And that is why you see these new products that are coming in. So that is what we call collaborative relationship, because they've seen something with other brands and they said, how about we do it better this way? And that is why you see constant development in the China market. And that is what we want when it comes to student development, a student to actually become better. And we work with these universities so that we can be able to enhance student development.
That answer will probably lead me to an ad break once you've given me, and then we can then begin to get into what I call the nuts and the bolts of the crux of the matter, if you like. But you've spoken about your relationship with at Focus, specifically on TUT. I'm not sure with other institutions. When did this start, and what are we looking to get from it?
This started before. I was saying yesterday when I was speaking to the translation event that was hosted by the applied languages department. So I was saying that it started. It had no formality when we started. So we just had students that would come in and knock on the door and say, do you have an opportunity for us to actually complete, to be able to graduate? So what happened is that we took most of the students. We were taking one student, pushing with them. We had one student who was studying journalism, and she became our editor, and then later on she became a senior editor. So it's quite an achievement, and I'm talking about this student now. Today she's in multi-choice. You can imagine, having served around 7 years with us. It's quite a long time, and then now she's a big gun. She's a big gun, and she's doing it now in multi-choice, and there are many others. So that is what we're trying to achieve here, is that we not only want to see student graduate and stay at home and not do much. So because it kills students. Many students that think they're gonna graduate and stay home, it actually destroys them. So for us, as a TET alumni myself, I decided that, because I love this institution and I love what they do, and I want to make sure that I work with them in order to achieve these collaborative, achievement-driven relationships. Because when we raise students and they become better, I was also given an opportunity. I did not just come one day and become a speaker or became a director of a publishing house. Someone gave me an opportunity, and that is why we want to give student opportunity, the same opportunity, that they must become better. They must excel in the work they do. But you cannot excel if you don't love your job. So you gotta love this work that you're doing, whether you're in IT, whether you're in policing, whether you're in HR, and whichever. So as long as you're able to love it, and you open a space for us as employers to actually want you And when you come to the work environment, you have to excel. You have to become. You have to stand out from any other individual. Offer us something that we never had, and then in that way, we see something in you, and then we're able to help you, achieve the things that you want to achieve. That's what we do.
Then before I take a break, do you have opportunities as it is for students, or maybe now or in the not so distant future?
Yes, of course. I was saying the other day that we want to expand the work integrated learning. So we move from having one student come in there and there to now having this year we've had 6 students that have done work integrated learning with us. So I was telling the HOD of applied languages that next year we want to take it to 24 students. So that's the type of an opportunity that we want to give. And now we've started also giving some of those students that have left us because they completed their work integrated some work to do, and so that because they need to keep active. And I was saying that in order to become a master class, a master speaker, a master in anything, you gotta keep doing it every day, non-stop, never stop. And when you do it every day, it becomes a habit. And a habit is something that it's in you. You love it, you're passionate about it, and you can do it. Anyone can wake you up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you'll still be able to do it perfectly so we have those opportunities. We're creating those opportunities for them and making sure that they get great platforms to actually expand their wings. So that is what we're doing currently at Zamaputi Publishers.
But the example you gave right there of a student who came in and now with multi-choice, it's a byword. It's a classical example of how that relationship that you are talking about, those collaborative, achievement-driven partnership can be made to work over time. So if you want to get in touch with us, of course, just after the hour 8, you can do that on 0123829257. We are TUTFM. This is Plaka Graduate, and sitting with me here in studio is none other than Karabo Lekalakala, say, or so they say. I may have to take a break. Let me come back after this and we get back into our discussion. We are talking here very, very critical issue around collaboration. We're talking issues around relationship. We continue with that when we come back. All right, welcome back from a very, very quick ad break. So a number of things that we are not going to obviously touch on, which I have found to be particularly interesting, coming from the men we are sitting on the table with here today is Karabo. Amongst other things, is saying be part of a 1% who are willing to do the things today 99% want to do in order to have tomorrow what the 99% won't have. For a moment I digested this and it made sense at a later stage, but it's a very, very loaded statement. Listen, if you are at home, you are on TUTFM. We are 96.2 FM, and of course on Facebook we are TUT 96.2, and on Instagram we are TUTFM _96.2. I see Simply G is looking at me as if to say, come on, get that one right. But 01238292557, they are taking those particular questions. You can easily send a comment if you are perhaps into the space of communication and you want to pick his brain, that is Karabo. You are more than welcome to do exactly that. Welcome back. Is the second hour. Please continue to engage with us. Of course, on WhatsApp or on Facebook, rather, we are TUTFM 96.2. On both Instagram as well as Twitter, we are, X now. We are now TUTFM _96.2. Of course, listening to us worldwide on www.tutfm96.2.co.za. All right, now let's get back to our conversation. Please start sending those questions in case you want to continue to engage with us. And our guest tonight is Karabo Lekalakala, who's joining us in studio now. He's a masterclass speaker and a whole lot more. We're not going to go into that list. And for those who have just simply arrived now, you are welcome indeed to the Groundbreakers. Karabo, let's get now to the questions that I really think need to hit the mark in terms of collaborations that we were talking about, collaborative relationships.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, this is beginning to sound like a buzzword. I think this
Yeah.
year alone, I would have seen people working around collaboration. And in fact, even if you read anywhere else, that collaboration thing seemed to be getting much stronger now than was the case before. In fact, simply put, the importance for collaboration is much greater now than was the case before. But collaborative relationship, because I want to break this into also how those can be linked to those collaborative relationships ending up really feeding the achievement that we are talking about, so that we compartmentalize this conversation to make proper sense of that. Is that when we talk collaborative relationships, it looks like a very difficult, more perfect sounding English word. But if it need to be broken down, what shape and form does a collaborative relationship take?
So what it entails is what you do better is sharing it with me, and so that it can help me to do better.
Yes.
And then what I do better, I can share it with you. I can tell you great companies that have started. Remember, BMW doesn't produce tires. So if you look at companies that produces tires, you look at Dunlop, you look at Continental, they created a collaborative relationship to work with the car manufacturer. And that is what we're talking about. We're talking in a sense that if you are able to use your talent, and then that talent you can also use it. And I'm talking if you're a student currently, and you actually want to better yourself. Us as employers, we want your talent. We want what you've studied for, what you're good at. And with that, we're able to enhance the company. That is why I remember I gave a talk to one of the biggest franchises in the world, which is McDonald's. I was telling the air hostess ladies that when a customer opens the door and get inside McDonald's, they see you as a hostess, but they see you more as McDonald's, because you are the face of McDonald's. So that is what we call collaborative driven relationships. So whoever you're going to partner with to excel in what you're doing, to excel in your craft. We have some of the great editors at our organization, some of the great paralegals that are working under our law firm, that are doing their job great. And you can understand that they love their job, and they're doing that because of the love that they have for their job. So we need their skill, we need the love of them doing the job, so that the company can excel. So it is what we call a great partnership, and that's how we collaborate. So you bring something on the table, and we bring something on the table. So we offer student opportunities to actually have where they could graduate, and then once they learn the skill, because all employers, they want a person who can be able to do the job. As much as their trainings and all of those things they're put in place in terms of the policies, but we want someone who is willing to do the job, who really can do the job. Because normally in the classroom we learn the theoretical part of it. But when it comes to the work industry, we need your practicality. We need you to be able to handle the pressures that comes with that. One person said in their CV that they mentioned that they are a hard worker. And then it happens that the employer said, I think instead of you knocking off at 5, can you do 7 o'clock, because we want to finish this project. And that person only realized at the time that, I think I mentioned this by mistake, that I'm a hard worker. So that's what we want, So we want people who are going to say I'm a hard worker, and they're going to put effort on that. They're going to, if we have do above and beyond. As I said, you have to do the things that others won't do in order to have others they won't have.
Sure.
So that's what we call collaborative relationships.
And I like the example you gave there of a car. A simple car that is passing by is in itself a picture of collaboration.
Exactly.
So how do you establish that? How do you establish collaborative relationship?
How do you establish collaborative relationship? It's basically because we don't have everything. We can't do everything. One man said, no one can do everything, but everyone can do something. So you establish collaborative relationships through what you want to do. So which if for example I wanted to become a speaker and I did not know how to, the first step I did was to join Toastmasters International in 2006, and I didn't know how to speak. They put me on stage. They said, hey, give us a 2-minute speech about yourself. I could not even speak about myself. And because I did not know, and there's nothing wrong with not knowing. But they started teaching us how to amplify your voice, how to channel your voice when you speak, impromptu speech, prepared speeches, all of those things. They started helping us to master that. And then I started mastering that. I started watching other speakers. So, and I remember one guy, he invited me to come and speak, and because he had another engagement elsewhere, and I jumped on the opportunity. So young people have to jump on the opportunities that come, that are presented. Currently there are a lot of opportunities that are presented. So if you want to expand your collaborative relationship, you have to jump on opportunities that are presented. We some of us didn't have work integrated learning, for example. It started now. So you can imagine now young people, they have that. They can actually get into the workspace, learn how to do the work, and understand how the work is done. And now it's even more greater because technology is enhancing. So there are more work opportunities. Someone can be a social media manager and get paid a lot of money for that. So you can imagine now opportunities, they come in vast numbers. But an opportunity, it cannot wait for someone. You have to wait for an opportunity and go after it.
Do we have examples? Because like I said, you throw words like collaborative relationship. It sounds so esoteric and metaphysical. Perhaps need to be broken down a little bit. Do we have examples of how a collaborative relationship, of course you've mentioned that at the top, but do we have some example of how a collaborative relationship, if well used, could function and work maximally?
It can. A practical example is what we're doing with the Tshwane University of Technology. It's a collaborative relationship that they have students and we want students to actually excel. So they present students to us that must do the work. But the catch is that for you to graduate, you have to do this work integrated learning. So this is a practical, clear example that, and then we take those students, we put them in the workspace. So we take them out of their comfort zone. Their comfort zone is being in the classroom and understanding how the classroom works, to being able to answer questions and all of those things. But now, when you have to do the practical work, that is what you need. And so we put them into the workspace so that they can be able to work. So these are some of the examples that we call collaborative, because we are collaborating with the university. Not only that, we have Rosebank College that we've just established a memorandum of understanding with, and also even in our organization, we're a group of companies. We have a law firm, we have a property company, we have a medical devices company. So you can imagine all of these companies, and then we have an ICT company, which is also servicing all these companies. So that is what a practical example of how we are establishing this collaborative relationship.
And just maybe for purposes of clarity, how do you choose who to partner with? Because not every collaboration, some of them have caved in, some of them have collapsed. How do you choose what is going to function within the context of a collaborative relationship?
It's quite a good question. A very good question indeed. I mean, you can't collaborate with everyone, and you can't establish a relationship with everyone. Just like any mutual relationship, you can't be in a relationship with everyone. But you have to look into someone whose vision and purpose is driven in line with your vision and purpose.
Yeah.
So that is how you establish relationship. I mean, if you look at the motto of Tshwane University, we empower people. So that is what our motto is at Zamaputi.
Yeah.
You know, that we empower students. We want them to come in as a student who didn't know much about the work that they are going to do, and then when they leave us, they leave different. A clear example I gave you with a student who's now working at multi-choice.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's those type of things. Now you become you don't just become average. Now you have excelled in your craft, and then it puts you there in a greater platform too. So you select your collaboration based on the vision of the person that you want to collaborate with. If you want to start developing apps, you must now think you're going to collaborate with many cell phone companies. You're going to collaborate with many such companies like Google and all of those. So that is what we call collaborative. So you collaborate with them, and one individual was speaking yesterday that I think it's from the applied languages, that they are trying to establish a relationship with Google so that Google can be able to understand African context in terms of translation. So if you type in something on Google, Google must be able to translate in properly in our language. And you see, so that is what we call collaborative relationship, so that we can better South Africa, we can better the student, we can make things even much more better with the students.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we will continue the conversation. We are in conversation with Karabo Lekalakala, who's joining us in studio. He's a master class speaker, and today we are talking collaborative relationships as well as, of course, achievement-driven partnership. Let's take a quick turn. We're back. Do keep in touch. You are, of course, with us on Facebook. We are TUTFM 96.2 on both Instagram as well as X. We are TUTFM _ 96.2. Otherwise, you can keep in touch with us on WhatsApp. It's 012-382-9257. Our guest tonight on Plug a Graduate, we have Karabo Lekalakala, who's the master class speaker and relationship coach. We are talking collaborative and achievement-driven partnerships. And Karabo, you've spoken at length about the benefits that are there. Maybe you can begin to unpack it to us in terms of how those collaborative partnerships generally could be beneficial.
The collaborative partnerships, they are very beneficial to our students, because we you know, the university, you could say it's plugging them with employers. So I think we should thank universities that are participating so much into the work integrated learning to plug students, you know, to create those students. So they're benefiting students a lot, because students can learn how to do the work, you know, in outside the classroom and in practical forms, you know. So I think that it's working greatly for them. It's also working for universities, because universities that work with employers, it's long-term relationships, because without student we can never have the work integrated learning. You know, without the university we can't have work integrated learning. So we want students to be able to participate, to you know, to be enrolled at universities, so that they can become better. And I think the learning inside the classroom is sufficient enough, you know, but and then you also need the learning outside the classroom, which is being able to do the work. And so it's greatly, and for us as employers, it's helping us, because we're bringing new talent. Just like a soccer team, there'll always be new youngsters, you know, that can play better as well, you know. And so we want young people with fresh minds, with fresh ideas that can help us to also sustain the companies that we run, because you know, you can't run the company with people who have been there for the longest in time and expect to have fresh ideas. No, you need young people that have fresh mind, fresh thinking, that can be able to have great ideas that we can also be able to implement. And I can tell you this, when we host our meetings in the boardrooms, and young people are there, we share some great ideas, and they bring some great ideas on the table, because this works for them. I was telling some of the young graduates that, certain things for me, they've passed my age. So I want them to teach me certain things that I don't know, which are the latest trends that have passed my age. So because we want to learn, and a great employee is one that is willing to learn, is one that is always wanting to have much more knowledge. And I always say, ask a lot of questions. You have to ask a lot of questions, because you don't know everything, so you have to ask a lot of questions in order to know more. And that's how it's been benefiting the students all over.
And you can't ask questions from people who do not know, right? That is why we bring people who have actually walked the journey, have seen the transition, they've seen how the landscape has changed to this particular point, and they would know where you fit in the overall scheme of things. And Karabo Lekalakala is one such individual, with his know-how, able to have a conversation with us here in studio today. Now, Karabo, let's talk about this, because oftentimes than not, everything requires to be completely and permanently, if not continually, improved. And I was worried about how we enhance. It's one thing to start a collaborative relationship, but then again, like anything else, you need to continue to renew, you continue to grow. How do we make sure that these collaborative relationships continue to grow a bit? How do we enhance those?
Well, there was a saying that you learn, you unlearn, and then you relearn. You learn, you unlearn, and then you relearn.
Okay.
So what it initially says is that everything that we have to keep on advancing our skills and the way we do things. That is why I was giving a practical example with the China companies, motor companies, that they've learned things that have been there, and they said, we want to do better now. We want to have cameras in our cars. We want to have impact detectors in our cars. So it's how we work on always improving collaborative relationships and these partnerships. So every now and then, that's what I'm saying, the will, which is the work integrated learning, was not there before. Now it's here. So the university sees the importance of plugging students with employers, so that things can be much more better. We don't know in the next 5 years what will come, but there has to be something that is even better. That is why I'm saying with us as Zamaputi Publishers, is that we took 6 students this year. So next year we want to take 24. So the reason is because we are seeing the progress that students are making in the office, and things that they are putting in practical terms when they're doing them. So it's how we're gonna do it is we're gonna create more opportunities. We're gonna create and expand and also needing assistance from the government itself as well, to also put their hand in terms of helping us to create these opportunities for students, because we can't do this alone. We need a helping hand. We need partnerships. We need people who can be able to create a space for students to be able to work. If it was according to me, I would want to have about 124 students working, doing their work integrated learning, and from there being able to work, and then be able to produce results and be able to be on the payroll of the company, because some opportunities are limited, but we have to work with what we have to produce what we don't have. So that is how we're going to enhance these opportunities and make sure that these collaborative relationships work. That is what I'm saying. It's not only Swan University of Technologies. We have Rosebank College, which we also signed an MOU with. We're going to have with University of Pretoria. So all of this, universities to make sure that at least this becomes a channel for students. So students must know that once they are approaching to graduate, they're going to get into work integrated learning, and then it's going to upscale them.
And one thing I always say, even from the 10th of April when we had the first show here on Plug a Graduate, is rarely do you get into the boss's mind who tells you, if you really want to get into my mind, you want me to consider your CV.
Yes.
Firstly, we've brought people who have written, who have told us even how to write the CV. You don't just write the CV, right? There's a manner in which you have to write it. And all these people we are bringing gives you a sense of what they are thinking, sitting in those boardrooms and deciding what they decide. They come here and share it with you so that you don't walk around confused. You don't walk around a dejected individual thinking there are no opportunities there, when in fact it is the information you need, and it is precisely why Plug a Graduate is there for you. There's a series of questions sitting on my table here from the listeners.
That's great.
And I'd like to fire those to you with the time left here. I know that Lesego Monama sit tight. The question will be answered in a moment. I know there's Milton Nkadimeng from Mamelodi, Kabelo Monare from Block H in Soshanguve, sit tight as well. Peterson Malachi from Block L in Soshanguve, you also have to set tight. And then out in Hammanskraal, we have Selina Mataba also with a question. I'll take two and then take a quicker break. But Lesego Monama from MRS is asking, what are the key qualities needed to build strong collaborative relationships in both personal and professional settings?
I think I've explained that.
Yeah.
I think I've touched on that.
Yeah.
But just to get more deeper in it, is that it's strong qualities. You have to hang around people that are doing what you're doing, and hang around people that you're gonna ask a lot of questions to. And because if you ask questions, you'll get answers. There used to be a saying that if you hang around 9 broke people, I guarantee you'll be number 10. So you have to look at where you hang around. If you want to excel in IT, hang around IT environment. Do what programmers do. You know, I know I had a lot of friends that were in IT. And I've learned some of the things that they're doing in IT because I've been hanging around them. Even though IT was not my specialty in the beginning, but I've hung around them so much that it rubs off on me, you know. And then it did rub off on me. So you need to be able to hang around people that are doing the same thing that you're doing. You need to read more. You know, get information in that which you want to excel in, and then you need to be able to make it a habit. Continuously do it. Never stop. You know, when I got into being an entrepreneur, I started doing this thing continuously and never stopped. Then I started loving it so much because it was now part of me, and I can tell you, for this came I into the world. And think of those words when Nelson Mandela said, you know, he's here for this purpose, nothing more, nothing less, and that is why he died for this purpose. So you have to hang around people that are doing the same thing that you are passionate about. Ask a lot of questions and make sure that you get more information and read more books that are going to help you to master that which you want to excel in.
Right, then Milton Nkadimeng from out in Mamelodi is asking, how can partners handle conflicts constructively, ensuring that disagreements don't hurt their collaborative goals?
Disagreements will always be there.
Yeah.
You know, we can't agree with everything because we have different ways that we see things, you know, different ways on how we want things to be done. But when you are in collaboration and you're in partnership, you know the end goal is what, you know, so you have to focus on the end goal. If there is a disagreement, you have to look into finding a solution that will be able to sustain the end result, because it's not about you guys. It's about this thing that you are in collaboration with. For example, if we don't reach an agreement together with the university on certain things that are there, we we have to think of the students, that why are we doing this thing? We're doing this solemnly for the students. So we have to try to reach a consensus in terms of what is it that we want to see students have achieved. And in that way, we ask questions of, you are saying this, we are saying that. But then how do we reach one conclusion so that we can be able to benefit the students? So there will always be there disagreements, same that they've been even in our own families, where we disagree with our mothers, our fathers, our siblings, but we are still here together. The main purpose is love. We have to love each other and do this thing because we love each other. So you cannot then disagree and then decide you want to quit. Then in that way, it was not meant for you at all. So if you disagree, find a common ground to say, okay, fine, I disagreed, but let me hear the other person's side of the story. And then you hear their story, and then so that we can be able to comprehend the whole agreement of why you're doing this. So conflicts will always be there. And how you resolve them, there's communication. You communicate about how you can make it better, and it's not about who's right, who's wrong. It's about how can we make it better and to see results. Because when it comes to corporate, it's all about results. We want to see the numbers.
And it is very, very close to what you've written here.
Yes.
It is not the situation, it is how you react to it that will determine how far you can go. Yes. With that, let's take a very quick break. Don't forget, Karabo Lekalakala, your question is still coming. Peterson, your question coming through. Not to forget Selina Matsaba out in Kanana Hammanskraal. We take a quick turn. We're back after that. Welcome back from a quick break. Tabale Dwaba from Ritgat. I also saw your question, as well as Koroshi Mashiho from Kalinin in Refuel. But let's start with a question from Karabo Lekalakala as we come back from a quick break, who's out in Block H in Soshanguve, who's asking here, what are some of the practical ways couples or colleagues can support each other's personal growth while working towards mutual goals? I'm sure you got the gist of the question, did you?
Yeah, I got the question. Sure. Obviously, when it comes to colleagues and where there will be miscommunications that will be in place, but same as what I said previously, that we have to think of the end goal. What are we trying to achieve? What is the end goal that we're trying to get to? So we may disagree in a lot of things, but we have to agree that this is the goal that we want to achieve. So and it's mutual communication, mutual understanding, not wanting to be better than the other, but instead do better to help others achieve what they want to achieve. That is why in football we have some of the great assists, we have some of the great saves. It's because of another person is assisting another to achieve, a goal. So that's what we need. We need that inspiration that, when you help someone and then the praises go with it, it's also, you're also part and parcel of that goal to be there. So with colleagues, you have to be able to and learn to forgive each other. Learn to forgive each other, and in if you've stepped someone on their toes, and you must be able to forgive another one, to say, look, I may have done this, I'm sorry, I can do better. And then in that way we're creating something that is beautiful, something that can help us to actually achieve certain things. Right now we have producers, for the shows that are also doing the part. Their voices are not here, but they are producing the show. The show will have the best result because they are also playing their part. So the sound engineer, you as the presenter as well. So it's that collaborative driven relationship that we want.
Sure. All right. Now, Peterson Malachi from Block L in Soshanguve is asking here, what's your advice for relationships where one partner feels they are contributing more than the other to achieve the shared goal?
It's you when you agree to be in a relationship with someone, and any relationship, whether it's work relationship or just human to human relationship that we would normally have. So it's not about who contributes what more. It's us being able to do what we, if you're contributing more, it doesn't mean the other loves you less.
Yeah.
It just means you have the capacity to do more. So that's what we always see in even in the workplace, that if someone is doing more, it's because they have the capacity to do more. It's that they learn more, they have more information. So even in normal relationships, if someone or your partner is the one who's always paying for your dates and all of the, it's because probably they have the capacity. But if they have the capacity and then they're not contributing, then obviously it should tell you something, that they are not really into this situation. So similarly at the workplace, if you're not putting yourself, your efforts to contribute to the work that you're doing in the workspace, it means you're not doing more. You don't want this thing more, and you have to put your effort. You have to actually contribute more, so that you can be able to, as long as you love it, if you contribute more, it's on to you, that you really love this thing, you want to do it, and it's not dependent on another person contributing less and you think that you want it more. No, it is that they may not have the capacity to contribute more, so you just have to do it because you love it, and then continue doing it because of the love that you have for it.
I just simply thought I should put it out there that at one stage he has spoken about things like Valentine's Day, but don't get it twisted. When we talk relationships, we're not only talking within the context of a romantic relationship.
Correct.
I see a number of them beginning to weigh on issues of relationships there, but it's drifting more towards what appears to be romantic. But let's get to what Selina Mataba now is asking out of Hamaskral in Kanana is asking here, how do you maintain a collaborative or an achievement-driven relationship during major life transitions like career changing or relocation, for example?
It's I mean, if we are relocating, for example, I mean, you will meet other people that you'll want to collaborate with. I think that is why one of the shows that I've loved, that it moved from United States to South Africa, what we know as Family Feud. So you can imagine, it is an American show. Now it comes into South Africa, and it becomes a South African show. So that is that. So if you're moving, or there's a shift in your career, you have to move elsewhere, you have to create more relationships that side. You have to start connecting with people. So you have the saying, I know people from high places. So that is that saying, that you will know people from high places because you've shifted. So you can't be in your comfort zone. You can't be in South Africa. Don't let your talent, your gifts make you get stuck in South Africa. Get out and know more. But after you've known more, come back to South Africa to make South Africa better, which is what I believe, that if I myself, being an alumni, I went out there to learn more, and what I know more now, I'm able to come back and plow back to the students. So that's what you must do. You must create those relationships, further relationship, know more people that will actually contribute towards your success.
So Tabole Dwaba is in Redgat, and is asking here, in partnerships, how can power dynamics be managed to ensure that both parties feel equally valued and driven towards success?
Which is what I was saying, that it's not about who does what more. It's all about what you have to do as an individual, to contribute towards the end goal. So if power becomes the overseer of who and what does more, then it will become a problem. So it is said that if you mismanage something, you will lose it. So power will make you mismanage things, because once you have power and then you start thinking power, it makes you in control and makes you the better person than the next, then you're going to mismanage it. And because the minute you start having power, people now look at you and don't do much because they expect you to do everything, and then you're gonna get tired, and you're gonna do wrong, you're gonna do a lot of mistakes, and then that's when it's now gonna catch up with you. End up now losing and mismanaging things, and then you end up losing them. You end up losing people who are able to actually contribute towards your success. So power shouldn't be on collaboration. It should be a powerless collaboration. Instead, it should be an empowering collaboration. So there needs to be an empowerment. So empowering each other to actually become better.
Sure. One from Koroshi, which is the last question here from Kalinen out in Refilwe, is how can communication be improved to foster a more productive and achievement-focused relationship?
Communication is very important. It's very critical. Whatever you say, it needs to come back to you in a way that you meant to say it. What I'm saying is that if you are communicating something to the next person and you get the response that you did not intend to get, it means probably then they did not understand that. So part and parcel of being able to be better at communication, you must be a great listener. Listen more, and don't listen to respond. There are a lot of people who listen to respond. You must listen to understand. If you listen to understand, because the first thing you do, you get information from listening, and then you are able to understand what they are saying from listening, and then you are able to apply the knowledge or the information that they gave you because you are listening. So you have to be a great listener in order to be a great communicator. Each and every person who has been a great communicator, they listened more. When you listen more, you're able to understand and you're able to comprehend what the next person is saying to you. So we have to listen to each other. Even when we collaborate, I must come to you. I'm saying, if I'm struggling with this, I must be able to communicate that to you so that you can be able to assist me. And then I must seek help, and then you're able to assist me. So it helps when you communicate everything that you need to communicate in a clear and proper way, that someone must be able to understand it, and then be able to revert back to you what you're actually asking.
Masterclass speaker Karabo Lekalakala joining us on the line. Now, let's get to this. How do information? How do people get hold of your information and be aware of some of the opportunities that you might have now or may have at the later stage?
All right, so they can basically get in touch with us on our website, which is www.zamaputi.co.za, or they can send an email at info@zamaputi.co.za, or they can also reach us on info@spinvest.co.za, so that we have a lot of opportunities. So Spinvest is our holding company, so they can reach us. We imagine we're trying to create opportunities in all spectrums, in all the companies that we have, whether it's Mental Link, whether it's Motalani Incorporated, whether it's Puti Properties, Zama Puti Publishers, AC Technologies. So all of these companies, we creating those opportunities for students and those who are seeking employment. So you reach us in the email that I've mentioned, and drop us an email, and look out on the social media on Zama Puti, publish us on all social medias, Facebook, Instagram, as well as X, where they can see what is currently happening, what are the current things that are happening, and then you just follow us so that you can be able to get those opportunities that are there.
Masterclass speaker and relationship coach Karabo. It's been a fascinating speaker here today. It doesn't surprise me really, given your history, given your record and your background. Really want to appreciate you taking the time and chatting with us.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate TUTFM, and I've been here.
There you go. And I do appreciate the role as well of the following people who have played an immense role in putting this show together. It's a World Cup winning team, I call them. We have the Director of Corporate Education, Dr. Rulin Brink, our TUTFM station manager, Ms. Kidiboni Ivama Hapatzilela. From the Alumni Relations and Fundraising, we've got Ms. Shalati Poshia Davani. From the Directorate of Corporate Education Employability Practitioner is Mr. Albert Sokobela. Thank you to him as well. TUTFM Programs Manager, Plugger Graduate, Show Director, Simply G. You know him as Simply G. He's has been pressing those buttons furiously and ensuring that everything goes swimmingly here. And the PAG, that's a Plugger Graduate Guest liaison officer is Miss Matumelo Lebiane. Presenter is Obakeng Mooketsi. Thank you very much. That's me. And of course, we have the videographer and social media officer Tsepiso Kokani, videographer and post-production officer Lesecha Senosha. Thank you so much as well for your time. Technical producer is Mr. Joseph Kekana, and who else? Polelo and Madisa is the news reader and co-host, nodding in agreement there. This is the team as we wrap up the show. It's been another great edition of the Groundbreakers. We are back again tomorrow. And up next is, well, where is he? Where is he? Calvin.
The Groundbreakers, Mondays to Thursdays, 7 to 9 p.m. on TUT FM.